Yes, guys, welcome back to another vid from Mutal FC, and today we got another banging vid for you. The Premier League is finally back.
All right, so Messi really messed up. So if you want to watch us mess up Prem predictions, keep watching.
Before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell because we have the Fantasy Premier League draft coming up again. If you want to be involved, you gotta be subscribed. So make sure you hit that subscribe button.
All right, so we're gonna give you our top six predictions in reverse order, so you keep watching. All right, so for sixth place, I'm gonna go for Villa. I just think they're gonna take it from West Ham from last year because West Ham are in the Europa League, so they have to focus on that, and that'll be good for them with Moyes. And then for fifth place, this is not a shocker, for me personally, but it'll shock other people. I'm gonna go Liverpool. I just think like obviously the first 11 star-studded. Jota's gonna take over from Firmino, but if there's like a single injury in that first 11, it's gonna be problems. So yeah, I'm going fifth place, Liverpool.
All right, for me, sixth place. Arsenal. I know people are coming at me. What? You've got Villa, you got West Ham, you're choosing Arsenal. Hear me out. Arsenal do not have any European competition. I think it's the first time maybe in their history or in a long time because they've always been European competition. And even though their team might not be as good as some other teams above them, they have the 1 week break, which is really key. Arteta can work on his like philosophy, get these new players to play how he wants them to play, and he has a lot of time to work on like the tactics and stuff like that. So for me, I think that's going to be very beneficial for this Arsenal team. Also, they'll avoid less injuries. So Arsenal, I think they'll get sixth because they can't have another shit season. So yeah, Arsenal sixth. For me, fifth place. Now this, I know I'm gonna get slated by everybody. I think it's the most controversial prediction probably in the video. Chelsea in fifth. I know these are Champions League winners, and now they're going to be fifth. I think people get clouded with how with them winning the Champions League. It was like Arsenal 2 years ago when they won the FA Cup. There was a lot of hype for Arsenal, right? But that FA Cup only covered the paper and the cracks of the team. Now Chelsea, I'm not saying have the paper and they're a much better side, and Tuchel's a much better manager. But the problem with Chelsea is I think people forget, even though they won that Champions League, where did they stumble in the league? They scraped it on the. They lost to Villa on the last day. People forget it. 1 week before the Champions League final, they lost to Villa, which was an important game for them to get top four, right? And Liverpool helped them out. If Liverpool didn't get a result that day, Chelsea wouldn't be in the Champions League this season. And if Chelsea lost the final, right, no Champions League, and then now the whole agenda against Chelsea, like, oh, they're shit, right? And people forget West Brom was only 2 or 3 weeks before the Champions League when they got beat 5-2. Like these results happen. I think people forget that Chelsea towards the end of the season kind of did stumble their way into the Champions League final, but it worked out. Tuchel got the luck. It worked out. I don't think this team is as good as people say. The midfield is excellent. I'll give them. The defense, I don't think there's any individual good defender except Thiago Silva, but the system works. But Lukaku coming in is I think is going to help them address a lot of problems. I just still think that defense, I don't trust them. I think there's sometimes like Rudiger and Christensen, even though they have been playing well of late, they're going to make some mistakes. So I know this could be some bias, but I'm going Chelsea fifth.
All right, on to our top four predictions. So I'm gonna go Leicester City fourth. They missed out 2 years in a row, but Rodgers still didn't manage to get sacked. I'm really happy. I just think, they've got Daka coming in, Ryan Bertrand. If they get rid of Madison, like maybe it could free up some minutes for Iheanacho in that like 10 position. It could be nice. So I'm gonna go Leicester fourth. All right, this is probably my most controversial pick for today, but I'm gonna go City third. I just think with Grealish, like we saw it in the was a Community Shield. He came on, and the only highlight in that video was him coming onto the field. He didn't do much that day, and like I just think they're gonna be pressured to play him, and then with Torres, with Sterling, like I just don't know if the synergy, that chemistry is gonna be there, and if Jack Grealish can like do the passing stuff that Guardiola wants. And then for second place, I'm gonna go Chelsea. So this is where I think like Lukaku's gonna like really help them. Like I think he's gonna like just bang in goals, like fire them in left and right, that they just are gonna at least be guaranteed top two. But like this is where the hype. I'm in the hype. For United, I'm gonna go United finishing first. I just think Sancho and Varane, like it's just so good to watch. Like I mean we haven't seen it yet, but it's gonna be so good to watch. And then Varane and Maguire together, I think that's like a rock solid back four. And then yeah, if they get a DM, it'd be nice. But I still think they could win the title without it. So yeah, I'm gonna go United first.
All right, my top four predictions. For fourth, I gotta agree with Laksh. I'm gonna go Leicester City. I think Leicester, not to go too much into it, but I think like Laksh mentioned a lot of things. Leicester, I don't, again, it's like similar to Arsenal. I don't think they'll have another choke season, right? They'll be in top four for the whole year and they choke on the last match day. I don't think it's gonna happen again. Leicester showing good signs, right? They beat City in the Carabao Cup, and I know people. I mean, not the Carabao Cup, sorry, Community Shield. And I know people say, but look, what did City feel? They didn't have like KDB or whatever. Like they didn't feel their best 11. But even if City fielded a B side, it's a good side. I mean, Jack Grealish, Mar, like these guys are good players regardless. And Leicester are beating that. So I think Leicester, they're picking up trophies, and I think they're gonna have a good season this year. So I think they're gonna get fourth. Third for me, uh, I hate to say this, but Liverpool. I think Liverpool will get third. I want to see them lower, but I think they'll get third. I think this obviously depends on how well Van Dijk and Gomez return to from injury, but they're basically like new signings. So I think those two, we know the impact they can have. They're amazing players, especially Van Dijk. So I think that will put Liverpool to third. The reason I don't think they'll go higher is just I think the two teams above them are just in the better lineups right now. They have a better 11 overall. I know Mane was a good couple seasons ago, but I just think he needs to return back to that form. Only 7 or 8 goals last season. Firmino also doesn't help. Probably Jota will probably start. So if these guys can stay fit and they start clicking, maybe Liverpool higher, but as of right now, third. For me, as a United fan, as you can tell, I still think City are better. So I'm going to say United second, which means Manchester City retain the title. I think United have everything except the DM. But even like Locke said, you could probably win the league even without one position like a DM. But it's the manager. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He is not good enough to lift this Premier League title. Maybe if a couple seasons ago when there wasn't a Pep and a Klopp, he could have won it. But in this stage, with the types of managers you got around with Tuchel as well, I just think United don't have enough to win the league, and which means Manchester City win the Premier League. As of right now, they haven't got Harry Kane. Probably doesn't look like it's going to happen, but there's still 20 days left in transfer window. Grealish itself is a big player. Whether he turns up or not, it's a big player to get Grealish. And I know in only one game you can't judge him off of Community Shield. It probably wasn't great, but we'll see how he kicks on throughout the season. But I think it's just they don't even need Gush. They'd still win the league. Even without Gush, I'd still say they'd win the league because they're just so dominant, their style. And so, yeah, I think City and Pep Guardiola is going to be another trophy haul for them this season.
All right, so now on to the Fantastic Three, or I'm sorry, actually bottom three, the teams that are going to go down. So in 18th place, I'm going to go Burnley. I think this is the year for Burnley, man, really. I'll really cut a cake if it happens. They were 17th last year, just go down. And then Brighton, I think they've been here a while, time to return to the championship. And then I'm going to go Norwich last. So I do think like Norwich is going to be fun to watch. Like that Cantwell Gilmore partnership is going to be fun. Like in terms of goal threat, like last time they were in the league, Pookie had 11 goals, 3 assists, and then Bundia had I think like 8 goal involvements together, and like they only scored 26 goals that year. Now you've lost Bundia, Pookie's 2 years older, and then your defense is also just shit. I'm sorry, it's shit. Like Norwich fans, it's really shit. I just think that means you're gonna go down in last place. So yeah, Norwich 20th.
Yeah, for me, when you look at the three teams that are going to go down, again, these are not controversial picks. I just think they're surprising picks. I think Wolves will finish in 18th. I think you see Rui Patricio, who was a very good keeper for Wolves, reliable, has left. Nuno has left himself. And I think even though they just brought this another Portuguese manager, I don't think it's going to be the level of Nuno. I think people, even though Nuno's style probably wasn't the most attractive, it worked. It was efficient. It worked for Wolves. Also with the Jimenez, not we don't know how he's going to return back from injury with that terrible head injury. So I think Wolves are really going to struggle this year. And Adama hasn't performed recently. He didn't perform like he did 2 years ago during the COVID season. So I just think there's a lot of ifs and what if so's with the Wolves. I don't think they're going to play that well. I think they're going to struggle this season. So 17th, 18th for me. I mean, sorry, 18th for Wolves. Southampton 19th. Yeah, I mean, look at what they're doing. They're selling all their players to Danny Ings. That's probably half the reason why Southampton have been successful the last 2 or 3 years. And they're selling a great Premier League goal scorer. And James Ward-Prowse might go to Villa too. If they sell that too, I mean, that's all basically all of Southampton. It literally is. So I don't think that I need to explain too much about that. So if they lose those two key players, Southampton definitely 19th. And then 20th, Locke touched up upon it, but Norwich, you're just the yo-yo club, right? I think you went up and down the most. Yeah, it's another you're going down. I'm sorry. I think Buendia, I mean, I think he was championship player of the season last year. I think you're going to see the impact of losing that type of player. And I guess I mean Villa's a step up obviously, but Norwich are going to struggle. I know they brought in some good talent, especially in the midfield and forward lines with Josh Sargent, Billy Gilmore. But I don't think Norwich have had a terrible problem with offensive. I think it's more the defensive side, like Locke said. Can you trust these defenders? I don't know, and I just think there's too much quality in the league, so I think Norwich are going to struggle. So yeah, for me, Wolves, Southampton, and Norwich.
All right, and then on to the Golden Boot. So I'm gonna go Lukaku for the Golden Boot. So officially he's not in the league yet, but if he comes, I don't think he should have any trouble. I just think one thing that a lot of people aren't paying attention to is like the crossing. I think frankly, man, Reece James swinging it in from the right, Chilwell swinging it in from the left, and then Lukaku, Jesus, in the middle. It's just gonna be fun for him. So yeah, I'm gonna go Lukaku for the Golden Boot.
For me, I'm gonna go Harry Kane, and this is all based off of the fact that it looks like Kane won't get the move to Man City or any club because I just think it's like kind of too late right now. I think Kane's just gonna focus. He's just that type of player. He'll just sit down and focus. But I think he'll definitely want to move after this season, no matter what. And he doesn't want to put a shit season. If he doesn't like play and just like I'm not gonna play for Spurs. I'm just gonna sit on the bench. No team will want to buy him because of his attitude. So I think Kane is gonna be professional. He's gonna try to put a good number this season to make sure a team buys him. Maybe Man City come in for him next year. So I think he's going to win the Golden Boot. I mean, we know when Kane wants to play, I mean, and when he does every season, he's always improving. He's always putting up the numbers. So I think he will defend his Golden Boot title. But other than that, guys, you guys let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of our relegation predictions, our top six predictions, and our top goal scorer? Do you guys have a different top goal scorer? Do you think United can win the league? Do you think City can win the league? Do you think someone else is going to win the league? Let us know down in the comments below. But other than that, we'll catch you next week. Peace.